Hello, FlossTube. This is Deb or Deborah, Science Knitster. Welcome to my podcast. This is a podcast mainly about cross stitch, but I also talk about some of the other fiber and needle related crafts that I like to do. Today there'll be a little knitting near the end. Today is Sunday, September 11th, and there's been quite a few new subscribers since the last time I recorded about 5 weeks ago. So welcome. Welcome back, all of you who have been watching all along. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. So with the start of Sampler September and also Sunflower September, I am going to talk a little bit about samplers, but first I want to show everything I've worked on since my last recording, which is more than I thought. So let's get started. I usually start, for those that are new, I do usually start with my beverage. Normally I record first thing in the morning, but today I had some things to do and then I had a family Zoom. So I'm recording this in the early afternoon after lunch. So I have some iced tea that I made myself. I like to brew my own from loose tea that I purchased from Stash. One of my favorites is Super Irish Breakfast. It's a nice strong tea, makes a good iced tea, especially after the ice melts a little bit. And after many years in the South, I became addicted to sweet tea. So I do like to sweeten my iced tea, not all the time, but often. But I try to eat healthy, and so I normally sweeten with stevia or Splenda. So that's what I'm drinking today. I'm drinking my version of sweet tea. Okay, so I've got my book here, my book of days, to help me remember everything that I've been working on. So my last recording was a little over a month ago, so about 5 weeks ago. The first was the first Sunday in August, I guess. Yes. So anyway, I thought about recording last week, but I was elsewhere and didn't feel like bringing everything that I'd worked on. So I was working on Uber Flag. This is a Bent Creek. It's from a while ago. What's the copyright on this thing? 2009. I believe I have all the Ubers. I finished a few of them, but I have several more that I'd like to finish. I basically started working on the Ubers because although I have been slightly nearsighted, and so I like to stitch on higher counts. When I was cross-stitching first, it was hard to get anything above 32 count, so I pretty much stitched everything at 32 count. Now I stitch on higher counts than that, but my eyes were going, and I couldn't stitch on anything higher than about 20 without magnification. So I started doing a lot of these Ubers, and so but now that I have good cheaters, I stitch on 40 count and higher, even higher on occasion. But so I think I had finished this one, or almost finished this one last time. Anyway, I finished this one and then started working on this row here. And I'm not sure how much longer I will work on this one, or if I even will work on it again this month, because once October rolls around, I will pull out the Uber Pumpkin or Uber Halloween. I can't remember which it's called. It's a jack-o'-lantern. So, so I'm stitching this on, I can't remember if it's natural or natural light. I think it's natural light, 18 count linen. It's the chart calls for 18 count, and I'm stitching with pearl cotton number 5. I think for this one I'm pretty much stitching, yeah, I'm stitching with the called for. Some of them I've switched up some of the colors a little bit, but this one I'm using all the called for. So let me put that aside, out of the way. I mainly stitch in hand now, but when I started these Ubers, I was using a scroll frame, so I thought just, because of tension-wise, I'll just keep doing that. Okay, let's see. I'll put this back here. So to continue with the summer theme, I had started this old Lizzie Kate Boxer Junior Summerlicious back in June, I think, near the start of summer. I am stitching with all the called for over dies, and my threads are a mess. See if I can tame those a little bit. So I really would like to finish this one before summer officially ends, so I guess I better get it out this week and work on it. So I have made some progress since last time. So I'm putting in the letters, excuse me. But I don't really have that much more. I need to finish putting in the letters and then put in the flip-flops in the sun. And then the little bees. The bees' wings are little Just Another Button Company buttons. So those little bees are just a few stitches. Let's see if I can get this done before summer is over. Okay, what's next? Then came Dark 13 stitching with Emily C. and Cozy Egg. And I am, for my Dark 13 stitching, I am working on Blackbird Designs Casting a Spell. I'm doing all the little parts. And I am using the called for over dies. I am stitching it on, this is 30 count Weeks Dye Works Cappuccino. And I recall correctly, yeah, so I had previously done these parts in the 13th of August, I finished this little sampler part. So that's, oops, this part right here. So I think, I'm not sure, so I've stitched this one, and this one. So I still need to stitch these three, and then this one, and this one. So I'm not sure. I might stitch this one next. I don't know. We'll see how much brain power I have. What I feel like stitching. I have a cute little thread bed that my friend Susan made for me. Actually, she made a bunch of them. I chose this one to put in here. So let me fold this back up. So this is obviously old Weeks. So I bought this kit from a shop that no longer exists, unfortunately. Ginger Stitching and Framing in Austin, Texas. And I bought the whole kit, including the box. Let me see the box. You need to paint it. So I have the box, I have everything. I bought it all as a kit. So that linen's a bit old because I bought the kit probably the year this came out. Yeah. When you've been stitching as long as I have, you have some pretty old things in your stash. So I have to admit, I crack up when some of the younger stitchers talk about, oh, I've been working on this for 3 years. Yeah, I have some pieces I've been working on for more than 10. Excuse my slurping. Okay, what's next? So I'm actually kind of doing this. I don't always do this in chronological order, but I am kind of this time for some reason. That's how I organize myself. Okay, so I got inspired by Laura of Brenda and the Cereal Starter to get back out my Ann Morrison. So this is Hands Across the Sea. That was released 2020, 2021? I forget. Was it released? Some of you watching probably remember when it was released. Anyway, it was released for Traditional Stitch's 20th anniversary. It's the shop in Canada. And I just love the colors. So I bought, I think I just bought the chart. And then I bought the SWA 103s locally. That's another story. At Judy's Stitchery Nook, which is unfortunately going out of business. She's been trying to sell the shop. She's sold a lot of her inventory, but no one has purchased the shop. And so we're gonna lose our shop here in the Rio Grande Valley, which is very sad. Anyway, I made some progress on Ann Morrison. So thank you, Laura, for inspiring me to get this back out. So I am stitching this on Legacy Linen. It is the Russian tea cake, which, if I remember correctly, is 37 count. It's 37 or 38 count. Depending on the coverage that you like, I'm fine with that coverage. Most people, or many people, would prefer to use the Soie d'Alger silk on 36, 37, 38 count, but I'm fine with this. It's a, it's not super dense, but it's, I like it, and that's all that matters, right? So, I got more. I think I hadn't started this yet. I started working on this one, and then started working on this alphabet here. Got this put all the way over, so I wanted to extend this down some more. And yeah, so I will probably get this out again this month after I finish the main sampler that I'm working on, which I'm going to save till the end. Or near the end of my whips, anyway. But I do have this. This was just a box I had, actually I think I got from a friend, that you actually could put cross stitch bobbins in, but it works for the 103. So, and it's a good size for the number of colors in Ann Morrison. So that's what I'm using it for. Okay. That aside, some more things out here. A few more things. So I have more than I thought, but not a ton to show. Okay, so Ann Morrison. I did pull out, so I started back in June, maybe? Maybe it was May. Yes, back the end of May. I started participating in the Mondays with Mary Stitch Along that is going on in the Our Sampler Years group in Facebook, run by Krista Grammer. Krista had, and some others had started this Mary Radcliffe that I happen to have in my stash. And so I pulled it out one Monday, last Monday, May, and started working on it. I was trying to stitch from stash, and I wanted it to look like the photo. So I've been, I kind of just chose my own colors. So this is a 36 count linen from my stash. And these are the colors, most of the colors, I think. Also, I'm using a couple of DMC colors, but I don't have a ton done. I usually end up being too busy or too tired on Mondays. A lot of the group have finished theirs and are this last week, I believe, on Labor Day here in the US. They started working on a new Mondays with Mary, which I plan to participate in as soon as my linen comes. It's Maria. It's a red sampler from Hands Across the Sea, and I forget the name. It's Maria, the Italian sampler. Let me look up real quick. I have the PDF, so I can look it up. Maria Vincenza Laricia, or something like that. Let's see. Show. There we go. It's this one. My Hands Across the Sea. So I have, I still need to get at least one more spool of the 103, but I bought out the last that Judy had at Judy's Stitchery Nook. So I ordered the what the linen. I can get the words out. I ordered the linen that the model was stitched on, which is Legacy Linen Sycamore Sea Pod, which is an uneven weave. It's 50 something one direction and 60 something the other direction, and we'll see what I think. I have stitched on 56 count before. I started a project on 56 count 1/2 with some overdyed cotton, and it's slow going. I think it'll be a lot easier with the 103s because it's a thinner thread. But we'll see. We'll see what I can see. I will have to use cheaters and magnification most likely. Okay. One of the other things I've stitched on, I've worked on it, I think both in July and August. August. I don't really care about July. That was the last one. Yeah, so for the, I remember now. I worked on this a couple of times. So I tried to do a Christmas piece on the 25th of the month for Merry 25 stitching. And lately I've been choosing to pull out Feliz Navidad by Black-Bellied Design. And I am using all the called for. So the called for overdyes on Picture This Plus Legacy 36 count. So I think it's the last time I finished this row of letters, and then I got this dividing band in. I worked a little more on the border. I actually had more of the border done, but I made a fatal error over on this side and ended up having to rip out pretty much everything I'd stitched one evening. So it was one of those where you could not recover. Often I will just leave things go, but that wasn't going to happen. And then I also stitched on this on September 1st in honor of the start of the Filipino Christmas season, according to Abby Bella Stitch. So to show some solidarity with Abby, I got this back out and stitched on it some more on, I think it was September 1st or yes, on September 1st. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, make sure I do this properly. Back in their little, I like to use these. I got the idea of getting these from Nicole of Nicole's Needlework. And I like them a lot because I can see what's in them. I have way too many projects. Is there such a thing? Okay, so the last two whips that I want to share with you are first for Sunflower September, which is something the Fat Quarter Shop does apparently. And I don't know if they did this last year or not, but they're doing it this year, and I love sunflowers, so I'm participating. So I actually had started this, which was one of their stitch quarterlies from 2020. My friend Susan, my best fiber friend Susan, had stitched this, and so she kitted it up for me again. So she was in the Stitch Quarterly Club. I think she still is. Anyway, so she knew I like sunflowers, so she kitted it up for me, even gave me the special pouch that she... I don't actually have these on a ring. I don't know why. So I have tons of rings. But so I'm using the DMC that came in the kit. And she kitted it up for me on an even weave from Fat Quarter Shop that so it looks like you're stitching on some wood planks. So I got some more done on that H. There are some errors in it, and I've just sort of fudged, so I was not going to rip out that whole thing. And then I made some progress on the sunflower. And I've got a coordinating thread bed, again from Susan. So she makes these little thread beds for herself, and she made a bunch, so she sent them to me. And then I actually ordered this sunflower needle minder. I ordered the Fat Quarter Shop has a mystery stitch along. I'll show a little bit of that when I get to haul in a few minutes. But I actually got this needle minder when I bought that, when I bought the kit for that, or at least the thread pack for that. So I'm putting it with this because it matches. So this is one of the few that is not in one of those clear ones, but you know, it's pretty obvious what's in it, right? Okay. Put everything back in there. I actually have, since I'm actively working on this one, I even kept a pair of coordinating scissors in there. Let's just say I'm kind of matchy-matchy. Well, not kind of. I am very matchy-matchy. Okay, the last whip I want to share with you. Where the heck did I put it? It is... Oh, shoot. Did I not bring it over here? I might have to get up and get it. I didn't bring it over here. So I was actively working on it today already. And I may have left it where I was sitting and stitching. This is actually not where I normally record from. And if I was where I normally record from, I could just reach over and grab it. I'll be right back. Sorry about this. Oh, there it is. Okay. So this is a very active whip. I was working on it earlier today. And it is for Sampler September. My main thing that I'm working on is Hands Across the Sea, Martha Dawson, 1832, which I started in 2021 as part of the Stitch Along for Our Simpler Years group. And I ended up putting it aside because I was working on Ann Roberts, which was the stitch along from the year before. You kind of get the point. I'm behind. But my goal is to finish Ann Dawson. So you can see, let's see. So you might have noticed that the words up here are not exactly what was on the chart front that I just showed. That's because those were over 1. I started putting them in and I just didn't like how it looked. This is 40 count purled barley from Lakeside Linen, which is what the model was stitched on. And I am stitching with my own overdyed conversion. So mainly General Arts and some weak dye works. Most of these were already in my stash. A few I went over to Judy's and matched up to the DMC. But I'm almost done. You can see I'm still working on the bottom part of the border. And then I've got some motifs here at the bottom that I'm still working on. Let's see. You can see at the bottom there, I'm still putting in the motifs there. There's more than one mistake. Somehow I got the border to match up, even though it's not exactly right. It's one of those where, you know, you made multiple mistakes and somehow it all worked out in the end. So I think, I know I can finish this in September, and I'm hoping actually I'll have enough stitching time in the next week or so to finish it so I can work on, sort of focus on another sampler that I have on the go. Okay, so those are all my whips, my works in progress. And what I was thinking I would do next is show some of my recent acquisitions, and then talk about, depending on how much time is left, talk about what other things I might try to work on during Sampler September. I thought about doing a sampler parade, but I actually did one back in January, and I haven't recorded a ton of episodes this year, so you just need to go back a few episodes and you'll see that I had a sampler parade, and those were all the samplers that I had worked on in the last year, and maybe, I can't remember if I pulled out all of them or I just focused on the ones that I had worked on this past year. But anyway, I have been doing a bit of stash enhancement. So I mentioned, oh, this is the thread bed I'm using for Martha Dawson. It used to go in its little pouch. I mentioned that my local needle workshop, Judy's Stitchery Nook, is closing. She's been having sales, and so I've gone by a few times and picked up a few things. And so let me show you the things that I've picked up recently from Judy, as well as in addition to what I'm going to show you, I've also picked up some threads for some things I was trying to kit up, but they're in my stash already. So okay, so one of the things, actually I bought this yesterday. I bought this Sudbury House tray that I actually have something in mind for my spouse that will go in here. So you might get to see that at some point. We'll see. We shall see. Let's see. I found this old carriage house samplings, and it's got a mermaid. Those of you that are returning viewers know that I love mermaids. So I had to get this. Let's see, what else? I picked up some fabrics. She does still have some fabrics. some threads, some charts. She's even selling her store models. She has a website, but you can't buy, like, she doesn't sell through their website, but it gives the phone number. So you could call and see if they have, I think if I recall correctly, they don't have any overdyed linen or Ada left, but they do have some like Witchell. And so this is 36 count. So this is some of the linen and fabrics that I bought. So this is 36 count R&R hazelnut that I thought might work for some smalls or a sampler. And that's closer. It's got sort of a peachy tone to it, a brownie peachy tone. And then we've got Lakeside Linen Wood Smoke, 40 count. I think that's pretty close. If I hold them back here, I think that's a little closer to the actual color. And then this is this vintage? I don't even know. This is, oh, this is just it's a Zweigart antique ivory. Just thought it would make a nice sampler linen. This is 36 count. And then I was looking for something for, and I probably will tea dye this to fringe it up a little bit, but for some stitching with the Housewives pieces that are sort of on a sort of a turquoisey, bluey, a little bit of greenish. And this is actually more turquoise than it's showing on the screen. This is 14 count Ada Arctic Ice from Mountain Air. So I think this will work for some of the turquoisey things. Okay, that's all my purchases lately from Judy, except for threads. As I mentioned, it already ended up in my stash. And then I mentioned that Fat Quarter Shop is having a mystery stitch along. So this is the sunflower sampler mystery. This was a supply list that you get when you sign up for it. So I got the thread pack, and as I mentioned, I got that needle minder, and I went ahead and got this bag because it's got sunflowers. I'm actually not much of a mystery stitcher or even knitter. I like to see the whole thing before I start. Decide if I really want to put the time into it. So and I had thought about, okay, maybe I'll actually do this one, but then I found Homegrown. I was like, well, that's sunflower, so that's going to be my main sunflower September piece, which I'm trying to work on Friday nights. I didn't say that earlier. So I'll just wait until the whole mystery sampler is revealed before I decide if I'm actually going to stitch it or not. I didn't buy the fabric that the model was stitched on. That you could have bought that also. It was I think it was a Lugana. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm just going to use something for my stash. But things can't come by themselves, right? They need some friends to come along. So I bought some other things. This is one of those splashy fabrics. So this is 32 count. And I forget why I bought 32 count, but it's Mint Splash Lugana. I have something in mind for this. I did when I purchased it. Did I write it down? No. It might be something from Lindy Stitches, because I think there was something from Lindy Stitches that was stitched on this. So got that. And then I got some 36 count Vintage Country Mocha from Zweigart. And this was also from Zweigart. The Lugana was from Zweigart. That's Zweigart. And then I decided to try some 32 count charcoal Lugana for you know, chalkboard pieces, either from Stitching from the Housewives or Hands-On Design. So I have some other black and charcoal-y things, but I hadn't tried this particular color yet, so I just wanted to see what it was like. And I think those other ones that I have are 28 count. And I wanted some 32 count. Then I got some charts, a couple of older Stitch Quarterly. I think these were from earlier this year or last year. I'm not sure. This is the spring one from whenever. This year. It says 2022 on the back. I thought, well, there's two things. I love teapots and teacups. And then this bird, although the coloring is wrong, this bird reminds me of the tufted titmouse, which is my favorite bird. So this was a must-have. And then, and I just like the colors on this one. So this is another one. I think this was again from the, yeah, this is from this year's summer Stitch Quarterly. So, yeah. So I'll get, and then a couple other, hey, I mentioned I love sunflowers. So I got the August calendar crate from Stitching with the Housewives because it's sunflowers. So my spouse is a flower farmer. Well, he also grows some vegetables and some other things, but especially when he first started his business, sunflowers were his main thing. And he still grows a lot of them. And then this Be Mine, also from Stitching with the Housewives. So this might be something that I put, that I use that blue Ada for, especially if I, you know, tea coffee diet, make it, that should turn it a little bit greener and give it a more mottled appearance. But we'll see. We'll see if that happens. Okay, then the last things that came, or that came along, I got these mini charm packs. I've been watching, actually I've been watching more quilting stuff on YouTube than FlossTube lately. I am also a quilter, although I haven't been doing any real quilting. The main quilting I've been doing is making hexies for a grandmother's garden quilt, and I haven't even worked on that in a while. So, but I got these mini charm packs from two different fabric lines from Corey Yoder from Coriander Quilts. She designs fabrics for Moda, and I wanted. I have a very large fabric stash, and I don't really want to add more to it, although I really like the fabrics that especially Corey has been releasing. So I was like, well, let me get the mini charm packs and see if they work with the hexies size that I like. It turns out they do. So I'll probably get a few more of these mini charm packs, and you can see, and make a bunch of hexies, and maybe make like placemats or table runner or something like that with them. And that way I can, you know, have some of the fabric that I like and not add volumes to my already extensive fabric stash. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for purchases. I did want to show, I have been doing a little bit of knitting. Sometimes when I'm really tired in the evening, I will get out this project. So this is Hitchhiker by Martina Bem. I'm I'm knitting it with some 3 Irish Girls yarn from my stash. Yes, I have an extensive yarn stash also. So I'm gonna move this marker to where I am now. In case I get a chance to make some progress before my next floss tube. So yeah, sometimes this is pretty mindless. So I just get this out when I'm a little too tired for stitching. Okay, so I think I will go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the other samplers that I want to work on this month when I get Martha Dawson finished. And the big thing is when I get Martha Dawson finished, I want to then focus on another hat sampler, Hands Across the Sea sampler, Rose Ada Featherstone, which is this year's stitch along for the Our Sampler Years group. And I bought a kit from this. This is exclusive to Hobby House Needleworks in upstate New York. And on the flip side, there's this Jane Elizabeth Milner, which is the which was part of the stitch along for January, which I did finish. But I haven't made a whole lot of progress on Rose because I have been working on Martha mainly, and then I got Ann Morrison back out. And I've been working on a sampler. So I bought a kit from Hobby House because they did an overdye conversion, and I wanted to see what their overdye conversion was compared to what maybe I would do. And so their overdye conversion is all pretty much like I normally do. Is Gentle Arts, some classic color works. I don't think my Martha Dawson has any classic color works in it. My Ann Roberts did. And then Weeks Dye Works. But then they also, for this green, they put in a Valdani. So this is the first time I've stitched with this thread. And then I bought, as I said, I bought the kit from them. So I went with their linen choice. And I'm trying to remember, does my kit have 36 or 40 count linen? I don't remember. Can I tell just by looking? So I know this is a Seraphim antique lace. I just don't remember if it's 36 count or 40. Oh, I know how I know. Let me check my app. I have an app called X-Stitch where I keep track of my projects. So that's as far as I got. This is a beautiful sampler, very colorful. But I think it's small enough that I think if I focus on it after I finish Martha Dawson, I could actually finish it this year with the stitch along. Would that be amazing or what? So let me check my app and see if that's 36 or 40 count. Pardon me. So it's the name of the app is X-Stitch Plus. And so you can put your charts. Let's see. So this is like inventory. So it has your charts, your threads, your linens, your beads. And it actually stores the information in the cloud. And I have this app on both my iPhone and my iPad. And you know, I can I can input information and pull out information on either device. And this is nice when like one time I was in Judy's and was like, oh, what, I was looking to see if so there are some of the Hawk Run Hollows and some other things and some blackbirds that like I really like. Apparently I like them so much that I try to buy them more than once. So a couple months ago, I was in Judy's shop, and I can't remember, was it, might have been like Village of Hawk Run Hollow or something. It was one of the Hawk Run Hollows. And actually Shores of Hawk Run Hollow I did buy twice years ago. So I was like, oh, I better look up and see if I have this one already. I did, whichever one it was. But the other thing you can do is it has this journal where you can put your, I probably just flashed that up real fast. So you click here on journal and you put in your projects. So you have like wish list, kitted. Yeah, I've got a few of those. Started, and then it actually, once you finish, you can put it finished. So, and then there's all. But let me look up Rose Ada and see what did I put. 40. It's 40 count antique lace from Seraphim. That was part of the kit. So, and I started it on February 1st. I haven't really worked on it since maybe March. Anyway, so that will be, once I finish Martha, this will be my focus piece. But there's some other things that are samplers or sampler-like that I would like to work on. One, actually, is this little sampler, modern sampler from Bendy Stitchy. Personal is Political, and I'm almost done with it. And actually, no, I haven't worked on this since my last FlossTube, but I think I did show it recently. Where did I put my little background? There it is. So I'm actually I'm stitching this on 28 count Picture This Plus Arbor. And I'm just working on the over one part, and I debated, I was going to personalize it and change this up, and there was a couple of different things I was going to do based on things that were happening in the world, and I just never got around to it. And I was like, well, I need to get this finished, so just stitch it the way it is. Put your initials and the year and get her done. So I'd like to finish this one also for Sampler September, because I'm really close to a finish. I'm using mostly my own threads. This one was, as I'm using some of the DMC that were called for, and then the over dyes were from Color and Cotton, which I didn't have, so I just pulled stuff out of my stash that I thought went with it and went with the fabric that I had chosen. Let me see. There we go. You can see that. So I really don't have a whole lot to finish. I just need to get it out and get it done. But I really want to finish Martha before I work on much else. Then something that would work both for Sampler September and for Sunflower September is this Heart in Hand. So it was a little kit I bought years ago. I'm not sure when this came out. So these little kits that she sometimes puts out would come with like fabric and buttons, if there are any. This has one button. And then you just supply the threads. And so this is the Sunflower Sampler by Heart in Hand. And it is a few years old. More than a few. I'm pretty sure I purchased this when it came out. And the fact that I bought it at Cross Stitch Plus means I've had this for at least 15 years. When did this come out? I'm pretty sure. Maybe 2005. That's probably when I bought it. Because that's the year we moved back to Texas from the East Coast. Okay. And I just realized I forgot to show something. So This is a thread winder, and I can't remember the name of the company now, but Brenda and Laura on Brenda and the Serial Starter have showed these more than once. This is the 9-inch one, I think. But you can use these to wind your thread to make it easier to put your thread on thread drops, and it is a lot easier than what I was doing before, especially for DMC. I was just stretching it out and then folding it and folding it and folding it till it was the length that I wanted. This is a lot easier. And I don't remember the name of the company, but I will try to remember to put it down in the description. Okay, so I think that's the main stuff. There are a couple other samplers that I hope I have a chance to at least touch this month. A couple other Hands Across the Sea samplers. So let me grab those out real quick. So both of them are part of Stitch Alongs, and I think this Stitch Along ends the end of this month, maybe. So obviously I'm not going to finish it. Oh, no, wrong one. This one was last year. Jane Fittis. I actually was thinking about like giving this away or just unkitting it, but I got it when I got it back out to look at it. I was like, oh no, I do want to finish that one. Okay, here we go. This is Eliza Martha Linfoot. This one, was this, I think this one might have been exclusive for a while. I can't remember. But anyway, it's a Stitch Along that's going on right now. This is the one that replaced Jane Fittis. And I haven't worked on this one in ages. I am doing I did my own overdyed conversion. So if I remember correctly, I think I'm stitching this one on Legacy Linen, Wild Honey, and let's see, with my own overdyes conversion. Start here. So that's my conversion. This is all, oh, there's a couple of weeks dye works, but it looks like it's all Gentle Arts and maybe a couple of, like it's all Gentle Arts and a few weeks dye works. But anyway, pretty colors. I do like this one. But I have no hope of finishing this one during the Stitch Along. So, but I think I can finish Rose Ada during its Stitch Along. So that's part of the reason why that's going to be a focus. But I do want to get this one, maybe one Sunday before the end of the month. I will work on it. And then the other one is another one that was exclusive to Traditional Stitches, Esther Blackwood. So this is a Canadian sampler, and my spouse has family in Canada, so it's one reason why I decided to go ahead and participate in this one. And I am stitching this one. I bought, I did actually buy a kit for this one. I bought the DMC kit knowing that I would do my own overdye conversion. I figured, well, I was thinking I would do my own overdye conversion. So this is a Lakeside Linen, what is it? This is what they were kitting up with. It's Lakeside Linen. Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't remember. Journal, Esther. Esther. 36 count vintage pecan butter. And went ahead and bought the DMC, even knowing that I would likely do my own conversion, just so I had all the DMCs to help me do the conversion. But let me show you what little I got done so far. And I'm trying to remember. I think this one runs till the end of, till Christmas, I think. I forget. So obviously I'm not going to finish this one during this stitch along, but that's okay. Anyway. But I will finish these someday. What's nice about this one is that the piece of linen that they gave you is big enough. I can definitely get another sampler out of this. So that's kind of exciting. This one I still need to finish the conversion on. I decided when I first started it, just I was going to convert it month by month. And I did, trying to remember, I did actually, I converted what was in stitch along for the first month. And started converting for the second month, and then life got busy. Life got too busy. Life definitely got too busy last year, this year, whatever year it is. But, yeah, so need to do some more converting there, but actually some of the colors are also in some of the other ones I've converted. So for example, I was running out of mustard seed for Martha Dawson. I don't have a whole lot left, and I was like, I thought I bought some more, and then I forgot to record it in my cross stitch app. I was like, I think one of the other samplers I'm converting or have converted has it. Or maybe it was in Rosetta, and I checked Rosetta Featherstone. She didn't have mustard seed. Like, I bet it was Esther Blackwood, because I'm in the process of converting that one. Sure enough, there was a brand new skein of mustard seed, the Gentle Arts mustard seed. So I put a note on the card and put a note in Esther Blackwood where mustard seed is, just in case. And I actually wrote it on the cardboard for that the skein is attached to. Return to Esther Blackwood, so I wouldn't forget. Because sometimes I'll just put things back in my stash and forget that they belong somewhere else. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to show. I did want to talk a little science at the end. I remember last time I promised I would talk about some of the birds that we've been getting. If you're in the Lindy Stitches Bird Crush, which I was able to join starting in March, I think. I missed the initial and then couldn't get in February, and then there were spots available in March and I was able to get in. And hopefully she'll release the other ones. But there was a recent, here it is. There was a recent one that I wanted to talk about. Is this the one? Broad-billed, yes, this is it. So this is the broad-billed hummingbird. Most of the birds that have been, that are in the Bird Crush are Western, because she's actually working with a bird photographer, birder and bird photographer, who lives in, I think it's Colorado. But anyway, so this guy, the the broad-billed hummingbird, does actually show up around here in South Texas. And I have a hummingbird fruit. I don't have it up right now because they're supposed to be coming around and pressure washing our patios at my apartment complex here in Brownsville. And so I my bird feeder's not up right now, but mainly I get like ruby throat, but sometimes I get these guys, not this colorful. I usually get the females, or the juveniles. And then I also wanted to mention, let's see, that's not the one. I haven't stitched any of these. Bad me. Black throated gray. More blue. Where did it go? I'm not going to be able to find it now. I just thought I had them all together. Oh. No. My apologies. It must be in this group here. Surely it's in this group here. No. Okay. Well, I'm not going to be able to find it, but I did want to mention one of the other ones was Black-Bellied whistling duck from a couple of months ago. I don't know where mine went. Anyway, that's another bird that shows up. Actually, we have quite a few. I live right on what's called a resaca, what we call a resaca here in South Texas. And it's basically an old oxbow, an old piece of, rivers change their course, and sometimes pieces of it end up getting sort of left behind as the river changes its course. Like there'll be like a loop or a bow that ends up getting cut off, and so and it can form little lakes. And so there's quite a few of them around here, since we're right on the Rio Grande River, as just before it empties into the Gulf of Mexico. And around here they call them resacas. And so I live, there's one right outside my patio. And lately the whistling ducks, there's actually two different species that occur here, black-bellied whistling duck, and I forget what the other one is. Anyway, they're around, and they've been a lot of them around lately. So I don't know what's going on, like more than I've ever seen. And so it's been kind of fun watching the ducks. Okay, so I think that's all I have for today. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed seeing what I've been working on and what I'm thinking about working on for the rest of Sampler September. My plan is to have a sort of a recap of my samplers and whatever else I stitched on in my next episode, probably early October, if everything works out. And let's see, what else did I want to say? I just, again, thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to the existing subscribers. And I hope that you have a good rest of the month, and that I see you back here in about a month. And please take time to be kind to yourself and be kind to your neighbor. Thanks. Bye.